Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Danielle Shank in for Bill Rentschler on today's Lancaster Lookout with Chief Deputy Ben Houchin from the Lancaster County Sheriff's Office. How's it going?
Good afternoon. Great weather out today, huh?
Yes, great weather. Much better than last Wednesday.
Oh, lots. Yeah, only in Nebraska, right?
Right. 80 degrees and then below 30.
Yeah, and snow everywhere.
Yeah, gotta love it. So we have one case that we're talking about here today that's also featured on lancaster.ne.gov. So who is it that we're talking about here today?
Zayden Huffman is who we are talking about today. He is wanted for a lot of different things. He's got 3 broadcasts, 2 which are for the Lincoln Police Department, 2 which are shoplifting, and then 1 is a burglary. And then he has 4 warrants for his arrest, 3 of them for theft and 1 for a burglary. And the burglary occurred on September 22nd. The Lincoln Police Department got sent to a glass breakage at 2950 Pine Lake, which is GameStop. Okay. And when they got there, they found Huffman inside and arrested him. And in his act of going in, he caused about $3,500 worth of damage and had in his possession about $3,000 worth of product there. So he ended up bonding out of jail on September 30th, and he was supposed to be back to court on November 27th, but believe it or not, he failed to come, and he has those warrants for his arrest. Our fugitive task force have been trying really hard to locate him, but he had become transient and does not have an address. And we're reaching out to the public for their help to see if anybody knows where he is at this point in time.
Yeah, if they've spotted him. So he's been on the run for a little bit now, quite a few months.
Yes, quite a few months. One of the things I do want everybody to know that he is known to have weapons in his possession. Okay. And so we want to make sure if anybody knows where he is or spots him, don't approach him. Just make sure contact us or if it's someplace else, the police department in that area, and let's see if we can get him under arrest. This would be a good one because I'm going to guess he's probably not stopped doing crimes, and so we would like to get him under arrest. Yeah,
and you said that he had become transient, so he's most likely still maybe in the area, so maybe somebody can just keep their eyes out. Their eyes peeled.
He may be doing the couch surfing thing, staying at different places here and there. So anybody that has any information, we'd sure like to hear that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so there's quite a few ways that people could reach out to you for tips. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, of course, the first and the main thing, as we know in this programs a lot, is Crime Stoppers, and that number is 402-475-3600. Us at the Sheriff's Office would love to hear from you at 402-441-6500. There's also the non-emergency, but if there is an emergency, make sure you use 911, but the 402-441-6000. So they can use that. They can also, they can see on there, there's different ways to contact us via emails and things of that nature. So we would more than likely, we'll take them any way you can come and give it to us. Yeah,
and the app too seems like a pretty easy way. So, any method that you want to use, you guys have it pretty much available.
You bet.
So let's see. Is there any sort of reward for people who submit a tip or incentive for this?
Yeah, of course. On Crime Stoppers, they once the information comes in and how helpful it is, and of course, if it leads to the arrest of somebody, there will be a reward. And the great thing about that, we won't even know who you are and be able to do that. And so you can do that anonymously, and we'd be more than glad to get it from that way.
Yeah. And so, let's see, Zayden Huffman, he is just one of a couple of guys you have on your list here. Let's see if we can get that pulled up, that you guys have available on the Lancaster Lookout website.
Yeah, and believe it or not, that is one of our more popular sites for people to go and to look at. So, we would be not just on Zayden, we'd be more than happy to get information on any of the people that you see there.
Awesome. And so is there anything else that you want the citizens of Lincoln to kind of know about today? I know this morning you spoke about a scam, that someone was scammed out of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, we've been having to report on those way too often. More than several handfuls. And this one, even though it wasn't the largest, I certainly, and I know you wouldn't want to lose $10,000. And the thing is what it seems to be doing is people will be on their computer and they'll get pop-ups and they'll tell them to contact Apple or some of the. Sometimes they use different ones on that, and then they start to get the person and they start to scare them.
Yeah.
And this one was the hackers were going to place this woman in a case of child porn. And that's what ended up scaring her to the point of her going to her bank. They asked for $25,000, but luckily the bank could only give out 10 at once a day. And so, but then she went to a local business and then went to the Bitcoin ATM and put it in, and it's gone at that point in time. There's not a lot we can do for them, and most of them are out of country, and we don't have a lot of assistance on trying to retrieve those. And it's sad because a lot of times these people, they're retirements, and they lose the whole thing. And the thing too, I do appreciate the businesses. They have big signs saying, "Hey, make sure this is not a fraud." And it's a very noticeable sign, and it's just trying to help people saying, "Hey, what could this be a fraud?" And I wish you would have took heed of that message. After she sent the money and they asked for more, she began to think, "Uh-oh," and then she contacted us. So luckily she did do that, and then she didn't go back the next day and give them the other $15,000.
Yeah, and I think there's a new law that Pillen had just signed for crypto kiosks that they have to have help out there, or and just some
signage out there to warn people. They do. In reading the reports on this, she had never used a Bitcoin ATM, and she's on the phone with the scammers, and they're telling them what to do. And sometimes you just wish somebody would have been there, heard that, and then just said, "Hey,
this doesn't sound right.
This doesn't sound right. Are you okay?" So, but yeah, it's frustrating. We keep getting the information out to the public, but it still seems to continue to happen. And the scary thing is, if it's happening this often in our location, throughout the United States, it's all over the place, and they certainly would not continue to do this if it didn't work.
Yeah, and fear is such a big thing that maybe all logic kind of goes out when you're thinking about that. You're like, oh man, like I don't want my friends or family to think that I did this or to be accused of child porn, so I'm going to do anything to kind of cover this up, and then you're not even thinking like, oh, is this a scam? Like, I just want it to go away.
Well, another thing that concerned her, that made her think it may be true, is the individual knew how much money she had in her banking account. So that's what kind of got her thinking maybe this is legit. And I don't know how they knew that part of it. It sounds like they probably took control of her computer in some way, and her information may have been on there, and they haven't been able to look on that. It's scary what people can end up doing and getting on that. So you always got to be really, really careful. And like I said, a lot of the scare tactics, we hear them of, oh, your grandson, granddaughter's been arrested and they need bond money, and they'll get people to send money that way. That you have a warrant because you missed your jury duty and all those. And it's just a scare tactic to get people, thinking, oh my, and like I said, they wouldn't continue to do it if it didn't work. Yeah. So again, we don't ask for bit money. The FBI doesn't no law enforcement asks for those things.
Or gift cards. I know we've heard that plenty of times.
The gift cards is another one. The Bitcoin has kind of started to take over more on that, because then they get the numbers and it's gone real quick, and it's really, really hard to trace because they'll move it from different systems, and it's hard. Yeah,
Bitcoin's already confusing enough, and then I think scammers are taking advantage of that aspect of it as well. Right. Is there anything else that you want to add about, or want the citizens of Lincoln to know about?
Well, as it becomes springtime, and the people are more out and about, driving, make sure you're being careful and all those things. And the temperature, it's 65 in the afternoon and 30 degrees. So just make sure you're always watching on that, especially if it rains and there's slick spots on that. And summertime fun and all those things are beginning to come. And we just want to make sure everybody's safe and doing the right things, and not drinking and driving. Don't be distracted, and making sure they wear their seat belts. And again, motorcycles are going to be starting to come out again. And a lot of times people just miss them, especially when they haven't seen them for a while. So just make sure, always take that double look.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen quite a few motorcycles here already, and I was like, wait, and sometimes they zip around a little bit, and that can make it scary. But just a good tip for everyone to be safe on the roads.
You bet.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us here today.
You bet. See you next month.
See you next month. For more news and updates, you can visit our website and follow us on all our social platforms. From our newsroom to wherever you are, we'll see you on the next stream.